This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Welcome to the Whisker Report. We're a new podcast dedicated to helping anyone in the pet industry, whether you're an animal welfare nonprofit or a for-profit pet company. We want to help you get some PR and buzz for your organization. Hello, everyone. I'm Mary Tan, one of the hosts of the show, along with Alexandra Card, a French gal who now lives in Vancouver, just moved there from across the pond, and she travels the world in the hopes of spaying and neutering stray cats everywhere. Bonjour, Alexandra.
Bonjour tout le monde! I hope everybody is staying safe. I've seen the American news with the fire in LA, so I'm just hoping everybody is staying safe and that the animals can stay safe too. We're here today with our producer, Mark Winter of Pet Life Radio, who is the man who gets us to you each and every week.
Hello, how's everyone?
We're
good.
good.
Yeah, how are you, Mark?
I'm good. We had fun things going on here this week. I know, Mary, you're a news person, so you'll appreciate we had Chuck Scarborough on.
What?
Yeah, on Rappaport to the Rescue.
Love Chuck Scarborough.
Yeah, he was on with his wife, and that was fun. And then for all you fashionistas, we had Isaac Mizrahi on too, and he was a lot of fun.
Oh my God, I'm so jelly. Jill gets great guests, but she, is she still with NBC or is she not with NBC anymore?
She's not a regular, but every so often they do a special with her. When they have a pet special, then she's on. She
is probably one of the first pet TV journalists for people that don't know. She's on the Today Show. She was a correspondent. She's very, very well known. Definitely one of the first pet journalists. I think I watched her in the 80s. I think the 80s and 90s were her big heyday. But that's so cool, Mark. Yeah, you're doing tons of cool stuff. And more people, spread the word. Pet Life Radio has a bazillion pet podcasts. There's a topic for everything.
And I think I'm going to talk to our guest from last week about having a exotic pets show with Critter.
Oh, Ethan Haber
yes.
with Happy Habitat. We love Ethan too. He was on a previous show, so tune into that show. He's kind of a goofy fellow. He developed this hamster wheel for, is it Moki or Mookie, his hamster?
Woozy?
Or Mootsie. But, our guest this week is pretty awesome too, right, Alex?
Yeah, today we have the pleasure of having such an inspiring woman. I met her at the Blog Post convention in November, and I was in absolutely awe of her story. Kate Benjamin has an eye for design, and she uses it to help cats. Kate Benjamin is the founder of Hauspanther, an online magazine focused on helping people catify their home. Hi, Kate. We're so happy to have you on the show. Can you tell us how it all started? How did you get into catification design? And how did you create that word? Because that's a new word, right?
Yes. And thank you for having me. Always a pleasure to chat with you guys, some of my most favorite people in the industry. So catification is a word that I coined with Jackson Galaxy, so it's kind of our brainchild together. I had been writing about cats and design since 2007, and I came to that because I had a design background and I had cats. I was working in the children's product industry, and I was working for a company that made very beautiful, modern children's products. And I realized, hey, how come nobody's doing this for cats? And so one night I just started a blog, and that was kind of at the boom of the mommy blogging industry, in the 2007, 2008. And it just took off. And at the same time, Jackson Galaxy was kind of coming up as a cat behaviorist, and his show started on Animal Planet, My Cat from Hell. And he had been reading my blog, and he realized that as a cat behaviorist, he would go into people's homes and tell them, hey, you need to do things. You need to hang shelves and put scratchers here and add a litter box. And people were like, it's going to look awful. I don't want my house to look like the crazy cat lady. So he tracked me down and said, hey, you're doing this right, this design piece, and I want to work together. And so let's create this thing called catification, which is all of the behavior and environmental enrichment side combined with design and the actual like consideration of what do the people want? Because if the people don't like it, they're not going to do it. And then the cats won't have what they need to live their best life. So it's really about creating an enriched environment for cats in a way that fits with your style, that you're not embarrassed to have friends come over and doesn't make you look like the crazy cat lady.
Can I ask you a question? Who do you think catify their homes the most, generation-wise? Do you think it's more Gen Z who is like preoccupied by the design and how it fits into their home for their cats, or is it like millennials or boomers or older generation?
I have seen all the generations do it. So I have had kind of an older readership come up with me since I started doing this. But as we see now with social media and lots of people sharing what they've done in their homes for their cats, tons of Gen Z are starting to do it. And especially because they love their pets so much, right? Cat owners are just completely over the top and proud of it. That's the other thing that's shifted since really social media has made all of this stuff more accessible to everybody, is that people are less afraid to say, I'm a proud cat owner. Look at my house. It looks great. Look what I did. Look what I did for my cat and how much they love it. And it's making their life better. And so I really have seen this whole range. I mean, you have sort of older people who have more money, or maybe they're empty nesters and now they have these cats and the cats are getting everything they ever wanted. And then there's people like me who didn't have children, right? And I'm Gen Z or Gen X. I am a classic Gen X and I did not have children. So my cats are my children. And so they get everything, and I figure it's cheaper than college.
Yeah.
And then just the new generations are just seeing it happen more and more. Jackson and I wrote 2 books, Catification and Catify to Satisfy, and both were New York Times bestsellers. So I think that says a lot about the interest that people have taken over the years.
That's incredible. And so Mary always talks about cats being second-class citizens, right, Mary?
Yes.
Compared to dogs.
Yes, absolutely. They need to be promoted.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so businesses like yours, Kate, are showing that cats matter as much as dogs, right? And that they need as much or sometimes even more than dogs.
Yes. And I think a big piece of that too is that cat ownership and design is all about the home. It's about creating that home environment, because unless you have an adventure cat, which is definitely the minority, but they exist. I know you have one, Mary. So cats that go out and about. Cats are at home, and that's where you spend time with them. That's where you nurture them. You need to give them the things that they need to thrive, especially when we're talking about indoor-only cats, which is what I prefer. I believe that they're safer. If you love them, that if you live in an environment where they are not safe outside, it's best to keep them inside. So you have to give them these things that they need to be active, to keep their minds and their bodies active so that they live this really fulfilled life. Whereas with dog owners, all those products are around like going camping and hiking and to the dog park, and it's outdoor stuff. So it was always just, it had more attention given to it. So as somebody writing about and developing products for cats, it can be a tougher sell. A lot of people have always traditionally thought, well, cats don't need anything special, right? Well, they do. Yeah, maybe they don't need it to survive, but do you want your cats to just survive, or do you want them to live their best life?
So I am actually sitting in a room. You can't see it if you're listening in the podcast, but this room was designed by Kate. And can I tell you, it is the best room in my house. And the people who use it are my foster kittens and Franklin, who Kate alluded to earlier. He's an adventure kitty. He likes to just like a superhighway, so they can run up and down without ever touching the floor. So just a shout out, Kate, you were amazing to work with. I have received so much feedback here in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area because Kate's design was also featured in our local newspaper, the Minnesota Star Tribune. And several realtors reached out to me and are thinking about maybe we should focus on pets as, a way to sell homes. Because at the last American Pet Products Association press conference last year, they talked about how the Realtors Association have talked about pets are an important part of somebody's selection in buying a home. And so it's just amazing. And Kate, you talked about the dog products, but have you seen a lot of innovation in the cat space?
Absolutely. So when I started in 2007, there were a few companies that I was aware of from the United States and several from Europe and Scandinavia who were already designing beautiful things for cats, wall-mounted scratchers, freestanding towers, climbers, shelves, things like that. But not a lot. I had to really search. And then almost overnight, more and more started to develop. And at the time, they were kind of smaller companies. Some of the ones that were already on the scene, of course, the Refined Feline and Hepper was around at the beginning. Like I found his website before he was ready to launch when I was searching for things to write about. And I emailed him and I said, "Oh, can I cover your products on the blog?" And he created the Hepper Pod, that original, like iconic
Yes.
modern cat design. And he was like, "Hey, can you give me like a day until I work out the bugs on my website? You know, you're fast." So I worked with a lot of these companies developing over the years, you know, giving them feedback, helping them promote anything that I thought was a quality product. So well designed, being aesthetically pleasing, but also really functional. Like, does it work for the cat? Does it give them something they need? And does it work for the pet owner? So that's how I defined good design. Like, is it easy to clean? Is it easy to move? Can you switch things out when they become worn without throwing the whole thing away? So I found small companies doing this. And then as time went on, the big players started to take notice, right? And so companies that normally only focused on dog, or they had like a couple of kind of ugly cat things, or everything was covered with beige carpet, they started to change. They got rid of the beige carpet. They started to add new, more stylish things in the current trends, whatever the colors are that are happening in the interior design industry that season. And so as those things were added in different styles, you know, traditional, contemporary, transitional, you know, boho, all this different stuff, it became more and more available. So I do think that there is a lot out there right now. So I get frustrated when I see a new cat product company write up their About Us page and they're like, "We started this company because there's just nothing out there for cats that we liked." Well, if you're saying that, you probably didn't do your research. So that is one of my pet peeves. There is a lot out there. Doesn't mean there isn't room for tons of new stuff, great new ideas, innovative things, plenty of white spaces left. But the industry has completely changed since I started in 2007. There's a lot. And I want to keep it that way. I want to keep the innovation going. That was my goal in starting the blog, was to spark the industry to change. And it has, and I want to keep it up. And I keep cats at the forefront, like you said, you know, give them the spotlight. Don't let the dogs take back over. You know, just keep this going because they're so amazing. They're amazing creatures. They play an important role in our lives. I mean, they've gotten me through so many life challenges. It's amazing. And I, you know, they're my children. So I just want to see it keep going.
I actually have a question about, you're cat focused, right? And like your goal is to put cats on top of the society. But I have a question because we know the money is mostly in the dog business, right? Like people who have dogs are more likely to spend more money. So how important is it for you, even though the money is in the dog business, to keep it as an only cat focused business?
Well, just I only relate to cats, really. I've never had a dog. I mean, there's plenty of dogs I've met and then been like, "Oh, I love you. Your soul is amazing." I've never had a dog. So they're just a totally different lifestyle. It's not my lifestyle. I'm not outdoorsy. I don't like camping and hiking. That is not my thing. I like designing my home and cleaning it and you know, changing it.
Yeah.
Like just so that's my focus. Somebody's got to do it, right? So, you know, I find it frustrating I do events and I have a lot of products that I design and we make here in our design studio in Phoenix. And so it's certainly at the holiday season I sell my products and I meet the people who are coming up to my booth. And it's kind of split. first, the people who I love are the ones who are like, oh my God, cat stuff. It's always dog stuff. And there's like 10 booths next to me that sell like dog bones. And so they're so excited. They get it. They understand it's handmade. They understand it's designed by a cat person, that it's high quality, it's, safe materials, all that stuff. And then, well, there's the people on the other end of the spectrum who just completely don't get it. And they pick up a cat toy and they're like, what's this? And then they're like, well, do you have any dog toys? And I'm like, nope, sorry. Go that way. And so then there are the people who have both, right? They're the dog owners who also have a cat, and they pick something up and they're like, well, I can't buy it because my dog will just eat it. So
Bipedal people.
yeah, how do we get those bipedal people to be a little more committed to their cat?
Yeah.
I'm not really worried about converting the dog people. That's fine. Just be a dog person. That's great. I'm a cat person. I get it. But I think there's some audience in there that's like, wait, pay more attention to your cat and what they need. Don't just get your dog everything that they need.
So part of that is getting Kate's name out there and promoting her. And we're working with Kate now, but we need to take a quick break. And when we get back, we're going to talk about Kate's PR questions. We'll be right back.
Take a bite out of your competition. Advertise your business with an ad in Pet Life Radio podcasts and radio shows. There is no other pet-related media that is as large and reaches more pet parents and pet lovers than Pet Life Radio. With over 7 million monthly listeners, Pet Life Radio podcasts are available on all major podcast platforms. And our live radio stream goes out to over 250 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, Odyssey, TuneIn, and other streaming apps. For more information on how you can advertise on the #1 pet podcast and radio network, visit PetLifeRadio.com/advertise today.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
And we're back with Kate Benjamin, the cat style expert. So first of all, a little compliment from me to you, Kate. I really like the fact that you focus on cats. I think it shows how authentic you are and how genuine. And I think you also transmit that when you talk. So I heard a really good talk of you at the Real Talk at Blog Post, and you have incredible storytelling skills. And I want to hear more about that. I don't know, is it a useful skill to promote yourself? Do you find it hard to promote yourself?
Oh, well, thank you. Storytelling. So I've never really thought of myself as a storyteller until I was pushed into doing the talk at Blog Pause. And I did definitely put myself out of my comfort zone because it was about cats, but it was related to sort of my challenges that I faced in life with different health issues and things. And so I definitely feel like that was a great experience. And Chloe DeVita, who's our coach for those talks, was just an incredible talk coach. She's really great at storytelling and helping you craft your story. But honestly, I have had a really interesting story from how this all happened from the beginning. So I have always enjoyed telling it, hopefully in a way that people can relate to or find something that they, can pull to follow their passion and really figure out what is it that they love and what is their skill set and how do you turn that into a business. So I think that as I've told the story over the years, I feel like it's been so long. It's sort of like, well, what's the new chapter in the story, And so maybe that is a piece of it. Maybe it is a lot more speaking, because generally I've been out there sort of telling my story. It started early on when I started the blog. It took off because there was nobody ever had said these words like, hey, we should think about design for cats. So it got a lot of hype. CBS Sunday Morning sent a film crew to my house. I was in USA Today and the New York Times. And everyone was like, what are you doing? This is different. And so that was a great way. If you have a unique story to tell, that is the important thing. That's how that's what your business should focus on. And that's where your passion comes from. I think, that's what is your unique selling point? I mean, that's the most important thing in any business. What's your take on it? Your editorial perspective, that kind of thing on a blog, on a product line, whatever you're doing.
Hey, I just wanted to give some context to people who don't understand what Blog Pause and Real Talks are. So last November, Blog Pause, which is kind of a content creators conference where you can get tips and tricks on how to promote yourself. Alex and I and Franklin, my kitty, attended. Part of that conference involved a special evening called Real Talks, and they were similar to TED Talks, where animal people could tell their stories. And Kate was one of those stories. She was phenomenal. You're a phenomenal storyteller. And can I just tell you, you just did a whole bunch of storytelling by talking to us. And you're very good at promoting yourself. And if you listen to Kate, she's talking about everything with emotion and through the heart because she truly believes in it. And that's what you need to do in PR. You need an authentic story. I know, Kate, you just mentioned that. Kate, what other kinds of challenges? Like, it sounds like, you're one of the first cat people, actually the first cat design person. But now I feel like your challenges are constantly having to reinvent yourself because you can't stay stagnant, right?
Mm-hmm.
The social media is constantly changing. Tell us about some of your challenges.
Well, it is hard to just keep going, right? But when I do, I remember how much I love it. So just creating content around what cats need in the home and how you can make it look great. So big challenge is that there are a lot more voices out there now. Either that's just one thing they do. There's not a lot of people who that's all they do. And I welcome them. I'm like, I'm fine. You can come do this. We're just going to have different voices. I'm always going to have more experience if you just started. So there's that.
Yes.
So let's all just remember the hierarchy.
Yes, exactly. Gen X always wins. And baby boomers.
So there's that. There's the history, but I love seeing what new younger people are doing and the new content and all this stuff. So it's a question of like, okay, how do I freshen up what I've been doing in a way that is still relevant and, can sit next to the new content without just, doing the same old thing. I mean, blogging it's not done, but it's definitely not the forefront anymore. And what was hard for me is that it was just such a perfect storm when I started. I had this background in PR. When I was working at the children's product company I mentioned, I was working with mommy bloggers all day long. And literally my first day on the job, I answered the phone. Somebody had called for the marketing department, which was me. And he said, "Hey, would you email me some photos of your product so I could put it on my blog?" And I was like, "What's a blog?" So I was lucky to work with these like major people in the mommy blogging industry, and a lot of them became my mentors, a few really in particular who were outstanding, and they showed me how to monetize. And then Blog Pause, the original Blog Pause conference, which is all pet content creators, before content creator was a word, before influencer was a word, then that started, and then we would get together and we would just talk about like this world of blogging. So it's like, now we need to figure out what is the new world. What are we all going to get together and talk about? Like, there's so many things out there. There's all the different social media. Like what's the next thing that I still want to enjoy doing? Because I don't want to do something I hate. So
how do you keep up with it?
It's hard. I also, over the years, kind of transitioned a few times. Like, I started a partnership with Primetime Pets, which is a pet product company out of Texas. And they, at the time, did mostly dog products, but they knew the importance of the cat product industry. I was introduced to them, and then we formed a partnership, and I had a licensing deal and designed a whole line of cat products with them, which they distributed all over the country, all online and stuff. And so that became my focus for a while. I really got more embedded in the product side and less in the blogging and the information side. And now that partnership has ended and I'm moving on so that I have more freedom to work with other companies and do my own thing. And so I'm just sort of reassessing and looking at my website and sort of needing to figure out like what are people looking for online. That's the thing is when in 2007 there wasn't that much, there was a lot less on the internet than there is today. And now it's on our phones, it's everywhere, and thank goodness I didn't invest too much time in TikTok.
Yes. I think isn't it Sunday that
Sunday.
Technically there's a ban on TikTok?
Yeah. I mean, it's all still up in the air. It might change, I don't know.
Yeah. It depends how loud Gen Z is.
Right.
I'm very happy to live in Canada where TikTok is not banned.
Yet. What? Except if Canada becomes a 51st state.
There's that.
But Kate, I just want to say though, like social media might be a challenge for you, but I think you're still handling it quite well. I mean, how many followers do you have right now? Like 60,000 or something?
Well, yeah, and I mean when social media started,
Yeah.
I was right there because I was doing it for the brand I was working for, and then I had started the blog. So, I ramped up Facebook and Twitter right away when they started, and then as soon as Instagram came on the scene, jumped on that. And so those numbers got pretty big, 50,000 on Facebook or something, and it got to 50,000 like right away. And so it was big. And then social media really takes hold, right? And then it just starts like that's the focus. People can come in and start on social media now and be at 700,000, a million, 2 million followers. And there's also the idea of like, that is stressful. Like you, even just having a big email list, every time you press send, you're a little bit like, well, I hope there's no typos. And so you get used to it a little bit to a certain extent. The first time I had a post go like super viral, like to the mainstream. Normally I like to preach to the choir, stay in my bubble, talk to people who get it. But something went mainstream and it was about this Japanese house that had been designed for cats and, had cats stuff everywhere and little places they could climb. And once that went to the general public and it got big on Stumble Upon. Do you remember Stumble Upon?
Yes.
It was this weird thing. It was a browser add-on that was kind of like your For You page.
Oh, okay.
And it would be like, oh, give me some topics. And then you would just press it and it would like find a random website. And so somehow though, if it was things were able to go viral in there. Like if people, then you could like it or whatever. I mean, this was like early social media. This was before Facebook.
Before Alex was born.
Yeah, probably.
You weren't even alive. So this post went crazy viral. Like my page got like 250,000 page views in a day.
Oh my God. Okay.
My website. Yeah. But with that came the comments and the trolls and the people and the cat haters. And I just remember this one comment from this one guy who was like, I clean vents for a living. And I can tell you that a house with that many cats is disgusting. You're disgusting. And I was like, whoa, first taste of like how you have to have such a thick skin. I think people are way more used to it now because of the stuff that happens online and in social media and comments and stuff like that. But it's still never fun. You still have to have a thick skin. And then you have to sort of decide, do I want mainstream? Do I want 2 million followers? Because that's not going to be the bubble. That's not going to be the preaching to the choir. It's not going to be safe. So how much do you want to get out there, which is how you have to grow your business. You have to find new audiences and reach out to that general population. Or do you want to stay niche, So I'm kind of figuring that. I'm pretty much sure that I always want to stay niche. It's just a matter of like, what does my audience want now? Who is my audience now? Like how does this new generation fit in? How many of them are paying attention to what I'm doing? Or am I just the old lady now? Am I like, people have called me the Martha Stewart of cats, which I would love to be the Martha Stewart of cats. But
you need to make her kind of money.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so exactly how, because businesses, they're always asking about social media. Do you see an income coming from social media for you?
Where it's not really monetized because I don't do YouTube. I should focus more on YouTube and monetize that. My income over the years, well, at first it was always very just advertisers because the website traffic was king, right? And then I had advertisers who wanted to get in front of that. That has shifted. Website traffic and advertising isn't necessarily the thing unless you want to put like one of those ad aggregators on, which I don't. I never have. Also, have never used AI to write a single thing on my blog.
Yay.
And that's important to me. So I don't have a lot of pop-up ads. I don't use AI. It's all like from my heart. So I now need to sort of look at that. Like, do I? So it's always been either advertising on the blog or relationships with brands. So brands that I've worked with that know that my readers will respond when I write about their new products or something. So it's been, email ads and giveaways that they sponsor or sponsored posts or things like that. It's always been really from the heart content that then different companies have wanted to partner with. So I just need to keep that up and then maybe find some new ways. Like, okay, maybe it's something we're doing together on social media. How do I charge for that? How do you monitor it? How do you show ROI? All those things. So, yeah, it's hard when you start off when things kind of happen pretty easily, like because of the perfect storm, and then the landscape changes. You gotta reinvent, and decide what's important to you.
Yeah, well, we got to take a quick break, but you are so fascinating, Kate. We're going to come back with you right after this.
Molly, here's your dinner. Zeus, that's not your food.
Don't let that happen to your precious cat. Elevate your cat's eating experience with the Cat Tree Tray. The Cat Tree Tray keeps your cat's food off the floor and conveniently located on the cat tree. It's the perfect way to eat. It's a beautiful wrought iron tray that easily attaches to your cat tree and keeps dogs and other critters out of your cat's dish. A must for multi-pet households. There's a 6-inch tray for large bowls and a 4-inch tray for smaller bowls. Purchase your Cat Tree Tray today. Go right now to cattreetray.com. That's cattreetray.com. CATTREETRAY.com.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
And we're back with Kate. Kate, a question about income again. I know you've mentioned affiliate links before, and I just wanted to know, as like for content creators as well as for businesses, how important is for you when a brand offers you affiliate links?
I think that's probably my favorite thing right now because also, like if I'm busy and like doing events or traveling around the country, or if I have a big order that I have to produce, I might not have the time to create the content to do what we were just talking about, which is kind of create that relationship. But then when I have time, if I can just throw something together, put an affiliate link on there, especially if I have the product in my house and I can really sincerely say, I love this. My cats are using it. Look how great it looks in my house. Like that should be an affiliate link, right? Because it's genuine content. And so it's also then super easy. So if brands have an affiliate program that's easy to find, either there's a sign up on their website or there's a link to say, find us in Share a Sale or AWin or one of the other big ones, I'm going to immediately just apply and sign up for it just so that I have that link. And then if it's something that I really want to write about, then I'll email them and I'll say, hey, I just joined your affiliate program. I'd love a sample of this product. And, if you would like to send that to me, here's some examples of other posts I've done with other brands. And then that relationship is created. But it's not just, well, first of all, free product doesn't pay the bills. And it's also not just trying to get free product. You have to show them, you have to, do the post, send them the link, add it to social media, tag them so that they can see, oh, this is worth sending her things. And then when she comes to me with, well, let's partner, here's the cost, then you have the relationship. So I think that's a really good way to start that relationship without too much commitment, instead of just going in and saying, hey, here I am, give me thousands of dollars. It's like, well, prove yourself.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
even though I've been doing it for 1,000 years, new companies that may not have done their research might just be like, who are you?
Yeah,
so.
no. And affiliate links, are such a good way for businesses to track which content creator or influencer is bringing customers.
Yes.
So I always recommend affiliate links to all of our clients when they want to work with content creators. I think it's a great way to push the content creator to post in an authentic way as well, and not to promote it too much as an ad, but more like in a daily basis. Like, this is the litter I use every day. So you post about it every day and you just share your affiliate link. And then you can track how many customers did that content creator bring.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Kate, how can people get a hold of you and connect with you?
So the brand is Hauspanther, spelled Haus with the German spelling, which is a little shout out to the German Bauhaus, the birthplace of modern design. So hauspanther.com is the main website. And from there's a link to our online store. And then on all social media, it's Hauspanther. And feel free to reach out through the contact page if you have any special questions. I kind of do all sorts of things these days: the products, the writing, the speaking, the catifying. I do a lot of homes as well as shelters and cat cafes. I've done several of those in the last few years. And just here to answer questions and maybe look for new things that I'll be launching. I feel like more of a community-based something, like maybe a Facebook group or something where people can we can interact and we can share ideas and we can do cool stuff and just keep moving cats to the next level.
And Alex, Mark, and I would be the first 3 to join, because we all have, well, no, Alex has only 1 cat, but I have 3 cats and Mark has like 8 or 9 or 10.
I have 3.
Oh, why did I think you had 8?
I have Dennis, Scarlett, and Molly.
Too. But you have community cats too, don't you? No,
Well,
they were community cats.
We had 2. They're gone now. But I don't know, this past couple of weeks, we had some new ones show up. I guess they know which house to go to, because now they're sleeping in front of our door. So.
Oh, that's so awesome.
It was cold here the past couple of weeks, and I saw like one of them like curled up next to our house, like shivering. So I have the heating pad for cats that it was in the garage because the other cats are gone. So I put it back out there. I warmed it up, and he's sleeping on that. He's there now.
Oh, that's so cute.
Well, if you are interested, Kate is available for speaking engagements, and she will be at Space Cats. She's been at so many cat festivals. She is one of the most amazing speakers that Alex and I have heard when it comes to storytelling and catifying your home. Well, that's a wrap for this show. So we are so excited to be doing this for all of you out there who are making life better for animals. Whether it's cats, which we love, but we love dogs too. A few of us are bipetuals. So do you have a question, perhaps, that you want us to answer? Well, reach out to us on Instagram or Facebook under Whisker Media, and we're going to try to answer it in a future podcast episode. So as we always say,
bark loud and purr smart.
See you later, everyone.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.